Hey, what's up, Doc?
Have we met? Uh, Hi. Have we met?
Sir, this time last week, well, I didn't see you before I left on Sunday, but this time last week, I was wringing your neck and we're in person. So, yes, we have met.
Mm. Oh, okay. I'm just making sure.
We did really well last week. We didn't argue or anything last week.
We
Well,
don't
yes, we
argue
did.
face to
You
face.
did. We argued. And don't say it. Don't say it. But we argued because you didn't want me to go next door.
Oh, yeah. But we don't argue face to face, contrary to popular belief.
Contrary to popular belief, right? Contrary to popular belief. But anyway, we have been on hiatus, you guys. Listen, I guess this teacher took the summer off. I'm just gonna just tell you. Okay, I had a lot of trips this summer. Had a lot
Oh,
of things going
apparently
on.
there's another thing to add to the agenda. We have to add this to the agenda.
What do we need to
So
add?
I'm going to text it to you now.
Okay, text it to me. Okay. And so who's calling me? Oh, that's my coworker calling me back. I'll call her back. And so the teacher project has a lot of great things going on. When we come back, we'll be back this week with a regularly scheduled programming. But in case you guys have not heard, the teacher project is moving. Did you hear that, El Teddy, about the teacher project moving?
We're moving. Listen, I called what's the name of the company? Two guys in the truck, or
Two guys in the truck. We're all packed
two
up.
pieces of trade and a wagon or something. Whatever. What do
We
they
got
call?
all our files. We got all our files in a cabinet. They're packing up the truck as we speak.
We ready to turn in our checkout list. You know the
Right.
infamous.
Right. Our checkout list. So we are moving to Substack, you guys. So what does that mean? That means that moving forward, we will be going live on Substack. We will still be uploading the video here on the Teacher Project 2.0 on YouTube, and we will also be having shorts that clips from the of the episode that we'll be uploading here on our other social media. But if you want to, and you can still fully participate in the live over on Substack. You just got to come on over to Substack, you guys. And there are a variety of reasons why we're moving, but we will still be here on YouTube. It just won't be live. So you can still get the content. You can still hear the conversation, but the chat just won't be here for the teacher project. But Substack is really easy. A lot of you guys are already on Substack. You just have to subscribe to us. One of the great things about Substack is when you subscribe to us, you will get an alert every time we go live. So it'll be no more of that, oh, YouTube didn't send me a notification. Oh, I didn't know you guys were live. You're going to get the email notification saying, ding, 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 we're going live. But there are a lot of other things that will, but that's one of the bigger things that you guys, we are moving to Substack.
And again, for the people, I just want to say this for the people out there, because there's always this narrative. I don't make Really Be do all of the work, contrary to popular belief. That is not, that's the going narrative that people be having, be saying. So I don't know why. I don't know why. I earn my keep over here. Till they be like, well, why is he there? Well, what is his purpose? He don't do nothing. We work to symbiotically together.
He never did an intro
together.
He never did an intro, but he does a lot of work.
We work together. Listen, we both earn our keep over here, okay? And we both of us do the heavy lifting around here.
We do.
Really, B does a lot of heavy lifting. I do a lot of heavy lifting, and we both love our roles. We don't have to change anything. We like how this works. Don't rock the boat. We good over here, and it's only going to get better.
It is. We're definitely excited with the possibility of going to Substack. And if you guys haven't checked out Substack is it's a really great place to get good information without all of the rhetoric and noise. I've been on Substack and subscribed to I get a lot of my political news from Substack, because I told you guys, stop looking at the CNNs of the world. You got to find you an independent news source. And there's a lot of that on Substack.
not subscribed to my Substack, I would tell you if you want to know what's going on with the war. And I'm going to start adding more political stuff over on my Substack, lteddy27official.substack.com. Our teacher project Substack is theteacherproject.substack.com. And if one of the moderators
Yeah, I
can
think
go
right
over
now I
there.
only have one mod. Yeah. Little baby, if you could drop that for us, L Teddy and my Substack, please, when you get a chance, ma'am. So the other thing I want to say before we get started is I am live on my main channel, but it is set to members only. You do not have to become a member to participate. You just need to come over to the Teacher Project 2.0, and it's an open chat. So I don't want people to feel like I can't talk. I gotta be. Yes, you can. Just come over to the Teacher Project 2.0 and chat until your heart is content. And at some point in this broadcast, we will be opening up the panel. We welcome parents, teachers, community members that want to come up and just give their opinion and have the conversation. We have a few topics we want to go over, and I have a few videos to show you guys. And then we're going to open up the panel and see what you guys have to say. If you are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. Drop down, say, hey, how you doing? And let's go ahead and get into it. I think we should start? I don't have this in any sort of order, but I have teacher retention. What do you think?
Did you get that last one that I sent you?
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
That's a very big. We talked about that on my channel. Not that it was going to happen in schools, but we talked about it happening with immigration and ICE, and the fact that they're trying to introduce that in school is a game
Oh,
changer.
wow. I did see that. I didn't see them
Is
trying to put that in schools. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. So I once I saw that. Shout out to Ronald who put it in my members only chat earlier today. That's
Okay.
absolutely timely right now for us.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read it to you guys. So we can start with that then. Oh Lord. Sorry, it opened up my threads, but then it took me to something else. Hold on, let me just read it from here. It says Omaha police demonstrates how shock gloves currently deployed to school resource officers in area schools work. So in Omaha, Nebraska, those shock gloves that some of you guys may have seen on the news I've seen ICE agents with them. Now they are, well, praise the Lord. Now it looks like they have distributed them to school resource officers. So hold on, let me see if I can find something a little more. Go ahead and tell us how you feel about it while I try to see if I can find something.
Let me help you understand something, people. We are living in a police state. We are deep into the authoritarian dictatorship. We are not going there. We're not almost there. We are here.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is the fourth branch of government is trying to wake up, but the fourth branch of government needs to wake up quicker, faster.
Mm-hmm.
And you know who the fourth branch of government is? The people. The fourth branch of government is the people. My question is, when you talk about school boards and school districts saying that they're going to supply school resource officers with these gloves that can electrically shock our children. Basically, you're tasering and electrocuting our children. Call it what you want it. You could try to whitewash it. That is what it is. And the same people, same parents that were out there beating the drum, screaming like a rabid dogs about gay people and trans people being in the classroom. Where are those parents? The same parents that were blathering about and bloviating about and screaming from the rooftops about not wanting their children to have to wear masks during COVID. The same parents that are making it their business to eradicate and obviate any instance of Black history in curriculum and are being successful at all of the things that I've just brought up and all of the points that I've just made. They have successfully done that across the country. Where are they now? Where are parents now when they say they don't want things placed in schools that will electrically shock and taser our children? Because if we're at the point where you believe that the best mechanism and way to control children is to shock them, then we're at an even bigger problem than we even realize.
So let me read you guys this article really quickly. I pulled up an article so we can get a little more details. So this is coming from Channel 3 KMTV, local news in Omaha. It says Omaha Police Department says its schools resource officers have shot gloves at 29 schools and they've been used twice on students. Now, mind you, this is dated. What's the date of this article? This is dated August the 14th of 2026. So the school year has just started and they've already used them twice on students both times. I don't even know when the school year started in Omaha, but clearly, it says school resource officers in Omaha, Westside, Millard, and Elkhorn school districts have access to gloves that can deliver an electric shock, the same technology that ICE is considering using for its agents. So it says considering. School resource officers at 29 public schools across Omaha have access to gloves capable of delivering an electric shock, the same technology that U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement is considering purchasing for its agents. The Omaha Police Department said Friday that the gloves have been used twice. I just read that already. Okay. According to its website, OPD has school resource officers at 34 schools in the Omaha, Westside, Millard, and Elkhorn public school districts. A spokesperson confirmed Friday that the gloves have been delivered to 29 of the 34 schools with plans to train officers at the remaining 5. The demonstration, okay. Police officer Jason, whatever his last name is, trains SROs on how to use the glove during a Friday afternoon press conference. He gave a demonstration and described both incidents in which the gloves were used. The officer was trying to get this individual away from the school to leave. The commands were given. There was a refusal. It was a quick touch with the glove, and then the officer was able to secure that individual. So I'm assuming it was a student who may have been kicked out of school or something, because it says that they were telling him to leave, but they're saying he was a student. Then we have the other one, I believe, was in high school, I believe. So he don't even know. Was in a high school, and again, non-compliance. And so the officer chose in this situation to utilize the glove. No reported injuries, he said. When asked why the gloves were being used in schools but not in the general public, he said he pointed to the lower level of force involved. He says, quote, I think because the low level of force, plain and simple, I don't have to taser barbs. I'm not going to spray pepper where there's a lot of aftercare. This, as you saw, has lesser effects than each of those areas, he said. OPD confirmed that both incidents of use of force was reviewed and deemed within policy. So that's what you got going on at your American schools.
First of all, let's be clear. This is going to be used, I shouldn't say exclusively, but overwhelmingly dealing with students that have a little more melanin than they're supposed to have. The makers of these gloves have already said that you should never use more than 2 gloves on one person. They should never be used for more than 15 seconds. Excuse me. They should not be used on people with mental handicaps or mental issues. We're also going to talk about the other overwhelming amount of medical conditions that people could have where this should not be used. And these people, the training that they're getting is how to properly place the glove on somebody, because it's supposed to be placed on the skin. It's not supposed to be able to go through the clothes and everything. But the point that I'm making is, where's the training on who should be used on? Where's the training on figuring out whether or not some person has a medical condition that you cannot see that may be a life-threatening situation. If a child has a pacemaker, because there are children that have, conditions with their heart and
Yeah.
or different things. If a child has a pacemaker, how can you determine that simply by looking at them? If a child is mentally has mental instability, mental health concerns, or mentally challenged, that's not oftentimes easily observable just by approaching a child, or just because someone is in an angered state, or someone is not compliant in your estimation. It's so hard to make that determination. If and my other thing is, if the parents are not going to say anything, I'm thinking, where are the school administration or the teachers who should be able to say, hey, this ain't a good idea. Hey, this ain't it. Hey, we gotta, something got to give
Well,
here.
El Teddy, how many times have teachers told people that this ain't a good idea and they do it anyway? They don't listen to
Well,
us.
then there's that. Well, there's
I
that.
mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't, it's not, I'm pretty certain I would be willing to say that there were conversations had where people were like, this isn't a good idea. And they didn't care.
The thing
I'm gonna
about
say
it
this.
is,
I'm gonna play
go
devil's
ahead.
advocate for a second. I am in no way, shape, or form. Let me be very clear. I am in no way, shape, or form. Let me say it one more time for the people in the back. I am in no way, shape, or form defending this. Period. Full stop. What I will say though is, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Right? We have so many situations in schools with students being non-compliant, students being disrespectful, students causing these issues that now it was bad enough that they put police officers in the schools. But now the police officers that are in the schools are saying, hey, we don't have enough resources. Now, again, I'm playing devil's advocate, El Teddy. I'm playing because I am in no way, shape, or form defending this. But by us, and when I say us, I mean those that it applies to, by us not instilling certain things in our children, we have opened the door for them to say, look, they're so unruly, they're so out of control, we need to fucking shock them to get them to comply. And I'm not saying that that's the truth across the board. I'm not even saying it's the truth. I'm saying we have allowed that door to even be open.
I'm not gonna even go down that road, and the reason I can't take myself down that road is I'm not removing and I'm not absolving parents of anything. I'm not doing that at all. But what I am going to say is, policing, law enforcement in this country, I equate to the same way I equate classroom management in the education world. In the education world, before we started teaching, really be when we were in school, the old school, style of education, they had hard on classroom management, strict rules and strict control. And these were during times where parents were just as inept as some parents are today. But the professionals were trained and had a great command of the profession in the ability to have great classroom management. In the same way, we've seen the erosion of teachers being able to have classroom management. And what happens is they start to make all of the rules and change the rules and make things easier, or I shouldn't say easier, but they change all of the old stuff out and try to bring in all of this new stuff, where the problem really wasn't the old things that they were doing. The problem is there was the erosion of the ability for teachers to have good classroom management. So because they weren't training teachers to be better at classroom, be better classroom managers, they started to change the rules, change the barometer for what students could and could not get away with. Now, on the same regard, consequently, at the same time, same thing can be said with law enforcement. Law enforcement at one time would did have more training on, and I know this from having people in my family that worked in law enforcement going way back to the 70s. And they talked about how there would be more tactical trainings on de-escalation and understanding how to calm somebody down from being angry before you just try to put hands on people and physically subdue people. Having more black officers in black areas that could assess a situation, triage a situation, and say, I don't need to be shooting nobody. It ain't that bad. I know little Nuck Nuck. He gonna talk a lot of game, but little Nuck Nuck ain't gonna, hurt a fly. You know what I'm saying? They were familiar with that.
Grape in a fruit fight.
Right. So my point is, we have this perfect storm, both on the education angle with the diminution of classroom management, and then on the law enforcement angle with them no longer being trained on how to deal with situations where that may appear to be out of their control. And it's all compounding on what we see now. Now you're going to have everybody finding reasons for this to happen and saying, yeah, let's bring all of these things in, bring weapons into the school, bring all of this into the school, instead of training the professionals, the alleged professionals, that being the professional educators and law enforcement, on how to properly do their job. Because police officers, their technical name of their position is peace officer. We call them, police departments, but the technical name, and I know you know this, really, B. I ain't even gotta tell you, but people don't know, they are actual peace officers. That is the actual name for the police. Just like we call ourselves teachers, but our names are, the term is professional educator. And I think that too many times, instead of training people to be better at their jobs, we are just putting more stuff in to subdue and subjugate the students instead of the professionals being better at their jobs.
Yeah. And again, like I said, y'all, I was playing devil's advocate. I in no way endorse this, support it, think it's a good idea. None of it. I was just throwing out the conversation. All right. So we want to get through these topics because we want to open up the panel and let you guys come up and share how you might feel. So I want to say, Sweet Pea said, I worked in an adult mental hospital. We never shocked patients, no matter how psychotic they were. And shout out to Rock Chick for becoming a member over on ReallyBTV, the main channel. So thank you. And again, remember, thank you for becoming, and thank you for the people subscribing. I'm getting alerts on my phone. Thank you for the people who are subscribing over on Substack. So thank you guys. Shout out, shout out, shout out. I have also pinned, did I pin it? A teacher wish list. It is not for me. Full disclosure, it is not my teacher wish list. It is a really good friend of mine that I went to college with, going all the way. I've known this person. They've been teaching for almost 30 years. I've known them since we were young girls together at Bennett College, frolicking through the quad. Yes, we were frolicking, El Teddy, through the quad.
Oh God! And if you're subscribing to Really Be, you can also subscribe to El Teddy 27 too. We work hard over here too.
No, let me finish. I was going through it all. So if you want to donate to a teacher, I highly recommend. She's a kindergarten teacher in DC public schools, and she actually has a YouTube channel where she shares a lot of the techniques and manipulatives and activities that she does with her students. She doesn't show her kids' faces and stuff like that, but she shows a lot of what she does in her classroom. So you guys can join if you want to donate to a teacher. Feel free to click on her Amazon wish list. I'll drop the link again. So let's get to our next topic. And again, we'll come back to this. If you have something to say, write it down so you know you want to add to it. But the next topic is teacher retention. So I saw an article earlier this week where in Houston, I have a little video to play. Down in Houston, Independent School District, they had 4,000 teachers quit this summer. And you might say, well, what does that mean? How does that translate? Hold on. For all of you guys that were talking about, how did Darius Cooks get a job in the school district? This is how it affects schools. Let me share this video with you guys. that's talking about it. Okay, here it is right here.
Out of every 3 teachers at your school suddenly left, disappear, no longer there. That is the reality in Houston ISD. New numbers show more than 4,000 teachers quit recently, leaving students to adjust to a lot of new faces. We have teachers here to talk about the turnover. Joining us now, Jennifer Germany, Tamara Johnson, and Matthew Harnett, along with former educator Michelle Williams, who was at HISD. So when you guys see that number, all of those teachers leaving one school district, what are your thoughts?
I think that you have to look at it like a business. The districts that represent the greater Houston area, they all have their different ways of doing business in the school district. HISD has had a rough go at it. It's real stressful, and teaching is already kind of that kind of job. So teachers are finding other things to do.
All right, and Tamara, your thoughts about this?
I believe that teachers still love education. I don't think that they're leaving because there's a lack of love for education. I think that it is the responsibilities that the teachers have. You used to go in, you could teach with joy. There's so many demands, so many documentation that you have to do, so many responsibilities, accountability, all of these things pressured on a teacher. And then at the end of the day, you really don't have time for yourself. And then when you think about, I don't want to just be cliche and say the money, but when you think about it, you're looking at the pay and then you're looking at all of the responsibilities. It's not a lack of loyalty because the kids are not the problem. Some may say the kids are bad, that's why they're leaving. That is not so. It's just a heavy load that you have to deal with from day to day.
All right, and Jennifer, your thoughts?
My thoughts are, I'm not surprised, because we cannot continue to do business as usual as the turn of the century continues to change. We have too many people at the top head making decisions for people in the classrooms and not asking or for input from us. You make these decisions and nobody sees it through if it's going to be work as a cohesive unit for the teachers. It's like our needs are continuously overlooked, and you get tired of always being wrong. You get tired of whenever something's not going right in the classroom, it's your fault. If I've had an experience where a kid walked out of class, I immediately called the parent, and the parent told me I was unprofessional because I couldn't tell her where her kid walked out to. And I'm like, ma'am, I talked to you immediately when it happened. When kids walk out, they don't tell us where they're going, ma'am. So you could call him, and you just get tired, and your spirit gets beaten up to a point where you just say, you know what? I don't need this. I've experienced work-related stress to the point where I've had an aneurysm. I want to live. And this year's my 30th year. And I'm making the big decision of, do I want to continue on, or how long can I do this? I love the kids, but sometimes people forget that teachers are human, and that the same way you don't want to be overworked, don't put more on a teacher than they can bear. It's like they want us to be Jesus. We can fix everything in this 90-minute or this 45 minutes. No, we can't, because we're doing paperwork, calling parents. You got to document if TT went to the restroom. I mean, I've literally, like during testing season, you got to write down when they went to the restroom and when they returned. It's ridiculous. So you get tired, and then it's just a lack of respect. People are fed up.
Michelle, let's bring you in real quick. You're not teaching right now. You're still a teacher, still an educator. You're fighting your own battle. That's a different story. But how has the system changed overall? Do you have the same pressures that we're hearing from these educators as well?
Teachers are in an abusive relationship with the district. That's just it. They're in an abusive relationship with the education system. The pressures are there. Teachers are mistreated. They are not treated like professionals. Houston ISD specifically, it's the most egregious culprit when it comes to abusiveness and abusing teachers. They want them to stand constantly. They can't sit down. They are fired if they push back, as in my case. They were trying to force me to break laws, and I refused to. So teachers are being abused. And not only are they being abused in the school district, the state is preying on teachers and setting them up for failure because they're bringing politics into our classrooms.
Imagine if one out of every three.
A lot was said, and I'm glad that they got different points of view, different perspectives, different teachers, different reasons. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I agree with all of the above. El Teddy, what do you think?
I just want the record to reflect. Really being myself. We ain't new to this. We true to this. We chronicled this and pointed to this some 4 or 5 years ago. We were on the cusp of the Houston ISD problem long time ago.
We talked about Houston years ago.
We could go back to before the state took over the school district. We reported on that when we talked about we reported on the low test scores there, and that the fact that the state was talking about taking over the school district. We reported on when the state did take over the school district. We reported on when they started firing paraprofessionals. We reported on when they started doing away with special education courses and curriculum. We reported on when they said, oh, we're going to change up everything and do this new style of system where we have done no less than about 20 to 25 major stories involving the Houston ISD issues, going all the way back to before, going all the way back. And so we are not surprised at all. Let's be clear. If you've been here with us for some time, we go back with them. We called it way back then. This is going to be an existential problem for this school. We talked about this before the state ever came in and fired the superintendent, if you remember. Brought in a new superintendent who had never taught before, who had never been in a classroom, and all of that stuff. We called it out years ago. Now we're just seeing the culmination of all of this. But let's be clear. This is not an isolated situation, not an anomaly. This is par for the course. This exemplifies what's been going on. And you got to think, Houston is the 10th largest school district in the country. It's number 10 in terms of largest school districts in the country. You can, if you think that is bad, think about some of the smallest school districts in the country that have lost, percentage-wise, as much as Houston has lost or greater, because there are people retiring writ large throughout the profession. It is happening. And I think that we are too far down the side of the mountain in this avalanche for it to go back. I don't see a scenario where education goes back to where it should be. And I say that because there was a time, I would say about 15 years ago, maybe a little earlier than that, maybe 20 years ago, some may say, where the country was in a better place and the country was fixated on education. The country was concerned. And then you had Common Core came in there, and there became this immediate, and from all sides, from teachers, from administrators, from parents, from students, from everybody, attack on Common Core. It made everybody fall out with that. And instead of there being more of a national way to address educational shortages, everybody said, no, we don't like Common Core. We don't want that. We ain't even trying to fix Common Core. We're going back to our respective states. Let the states handle it. That's how it's supposed to be anyway. And once we did that, the national eye and the public eye went off of education. Congress stopped giving a damn about education. They would fund it, but even on the Democratic side, they'll give it money, whatever y'all say y'all need, but go ahead. And it was left to the states. And now we're talking about a state like Texas, a red state, a state that has one of the largest school districts in the country. The state that has the largest amount of black people in this country. That state is now left to themselves, and there's no federal or national entity trying to reel these states in, trying to make education better. So what we're going to continue to do is see the wrong people come up with the wrong ideas and the wrong methods to fix a problem that they started. They cannot fix it, because just as bad as Texas is, Tennessee is exponentially worse. Oklahoma is exponentially worse. Arkansas, exponentially worse. And I mentioned those states because we've talked about all of those states and talked about the horrible things. This is not going to get any better. This is going to be a problem. And what's going to happen is, because they have no plan in place to make this better, you're going to see states do more and more to do away with the public school system altogether and have everything privatized and have everything that way, which will force parents to do something. Something's going to have to happen. You got to have some way to educate these children, but they're going more and more school of choice, voucher system, and all of these other things. And so now, even where we had state controlled school districts, or even at least on the state level, everybody was supposed to be doing the same thing. You're going to have every single school doing a different thing and having a different way that they educate children, that they it's going to be a mess, really be a mess. And the last thing I'll say to this is, all of this is going to be have major effects on the university system, post secondary education, and that all has ramifications on the workforce.
So what I'm also going to say is, and how does this trickle down to the everyday effect? The everyday effect is, you potentially, as parents, your children potentially will not have a teacher. They will have long-term subs that are put in these positions, and that's no disrespect to subs, but they'll have long-term subs across the board for the entire school year. At my school last year, we had vacant positions at the end of the school year. Some of the same vacant positions that we started the school year with, we ended the school year with, which means that those kids did not have a teacher for that particular subject. And we're not talking about electives. We're talking about math classes. We're talking about English, social studies. We had 2 English vacancies at my school last year. We had a long-term sub in one of those, and that teacher quit. The sub quit in the middle of the school year. He got fed up with the bullshit and he quit. And then we had another position that we just never filled, which I don't know why we can't get an English teacher, but that's above my pay grade. But
and just real quick, really, just to interject there, for people who aren't familiar with schools, the first positions they fill at every school is English. And that's a tell it. When you see vacancies in an English class, that means you have a real problem, because those are the first positions that get filled at because it's an accountability grade at every level in K through 12. So that's why she's bringing that out. I just wanted to put that in there because some people may not know that.
Janae, who we know is a college professor, friend of the show, she said that they're already seeing that effect in college, where college students are showing up not being able to read. We're gonna talk about literacy. That's on the list. M Love said the state of Tennessee has been trying for decades to take over the city of Memphis, and most school vouchers go to private school. We didn't put vouchers on the list, but baby, that's a whole nother conversation. Simon said, I don't blame the teachers one bit. They are treated like trash, and many don't have respect for them at all. One of the most profound statement that was made in that last video that we watched was the woman who said that teachers are in an abusive relationship with the district. Baby, Baby, I felt that in my soul. I'm just being honest with you. I felt that in my soul. Because that's how I feel, if I'm being honest. So I felt that. Again, we're going to hit these again. Write it down. Let's go to this first day of school video. You're gonna love this one, El Teddy. You're gonna love this one. All right, let me see here. Now, I wasn't able to find the original video. I think the mother must have taken it down. So I was able to find a stitch. So work with me on this one. Let's see here. Is this the right one? Yeah, this is the right one. All right, let me share my screen so y'all can. And some of y'all may have already seen this video, but love to hear your opinions on this one. All right, can y'all see the screen? All right. Oh, shit.
Okay, y'all, what is giving?
4th grade.
What grade you going to?
4th grade.
Okay, fourth grade, first grade. Thank you. It's them Barbies. Let me see y'all eyes. Ooh, tell them this shit. Stamp. Ooh, walk out. Ooh, attitude. Ooh, walk.
I just want to pause real quick. Did y'all see that girl that said she was going to first grade? She could barely say the word first. Put her middle finger up. Okay, I just want to make sure y'all saw that.
There was so much wrong with this video.
Okay, so that's the stitch. We're gonna give our own commentary. So the little girl is cussing. The little girl puts her middle finger up. They're dancing. First of all, can we talk about them not being in seatbelts in the back seat of the car? But that's a whole nother conversation. I mean, what do we think? El Teddy, did you even watch the video?
I did. I've seen it already.
Oh, okay. So what are your opinions, sir? And again, that's an easy one, I think, but go ahead.
I mean, we've seen iterations of this throughout history and throughout the. I don't want to over hype this situation as if, oh my God, this has been going on hell since all of us were in school. There were parents that allowed children to do whatever the hell they wanted to do, going all the way back, and we've seen iterations of this. I think it gets highlighted more because we do have mechanisms like social media that highlights this. But again, as horrible as you may think that parent is, you're not making the situation better by not helping the school and the educational process that may be able to help that, because we as teachers and educators deal with students from all different levels of background and parenting. And so a lot of times, like you and I we've dealt with students who've come in and their parents have been like that parent who ain't doing the right thing. And it becomes our job and our responsibility to reel those students in, get them to say, hey, baby, we can't do that. Let me help you out. You know what I'm saying? And that can happen. You can have change with those kids, but the place where they're supposed to go to get those things and learn those things, we're not supporting that place. You know what I'm saying? It'd be like you saying a student was broke their leg or has a broken leg, and you're now shutting down the hospital or defunding the hospital or clinic where they can go and get their leg fixed. And now complaining about the fact that they got a broke leg when there's a place they can go to get the leg fixed, and you're not even trying to fix that place.
I feel like, once again, and again, you're right. There's nothing new under the sun. It's always just, like you said, maybe more exaggerated, maybe more eyes on it because of social media. But we've always seen kids who show up on the first day of school with brand new $300 sneakers, a brand new book bag, brand new hairdo or haircut, brand new uniforms, and aren't ready for school. The parents are not the supportive parents. They're the ones that never have the supplies, never have this, never have that. So you're right. That's nothing new. But once again, as somebody who's in the trenches, I say you're sending this child to first grade. She already cussing, putting up her middle finger. What do you think is going to happen the first time the teacher says something she don't like? And what do you think the mama's response is going to be when that child comes home and says, my teacher said such and such and such, and I said, fuck her, because the mama didn't have a problem with the girl cussing in the video. Again, hold on to it, y'all. We just hitting these topics, and then we're going to open up the panel. So I see y'all comments in the chat. I'm putting them up on the screen. Let's get to the next one. Now, the next one is a principal down in Florida. What's the name of that school again, El Teddy?
That's Miami Carroll City.
Yeah, Miami Carroll City. That's it. Yeah.
For those people going there, they Funky went to Carroll City.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is the principal on the first day of school greeting.
I actually know. I know her very well, Dr. McKinney. I know her very well. We came up in the trenches together.
Oh, always been. Shayla said that's her alma mater. All right.
Yeah. What year you came out of Carroll City? If you don't mind telling me, Shayla, baby, I got a lot of family and friends that went to Carroll City. I went to Central, Miami Central.
This isn't the best. I've seen better videos, but you'll get the gist of it, you guys. So let me play this. Am I sharing it on the screen? Yeah. Okay. Let me play this for you guys.
This right here is a principal of a Miami school, and on the first day of school, she's doing this with her student.
You need a uniform shirt. Over here. You need a uniform shirt. Take those headphones off your head. Good morning. Welcome. Over here. No interruption of my school. No interruptions. It's not going to be a good day. He doesn't have on a uniform shirt. He's leaving? He's going home. Bye-bye. Adios. You go hide. Adios. Lopez, I don't know what he's trying to tell me. He has a note for his slide, but it has nothing to do with his uniform shirt. How you doing? Welcome to Miami Carroll City High School, home of the chief. How you doing?
Yes, you saw that correctly. She's making sure and reinforcing that they are wearing the proper school uniforms, and if they're not, they're going back home. And there's a debate. There's a lot of people who are saying that she's doing too cruel. Her tone is wrong. It's not that big of a deal. The kids are going to prison, or is it school? And I have to say this. It's people like this that are upset with the principal or something.
All right, y'all get the point, because that's his commentary. Again, that's his commentary. Oh, okay. She said 2011. You too old. You don't know her. You too old. Ooh. My bad. No, my bad.
To say that I knew her. I was just trying to get a context.
I was just being funny.
When she came out of Carroll City. She came out of the new Carroll City. The old Carroll City was on the back side of the school. You know, they built a new building, new school that's now 183rd Street. The old building, what? No,
oh, she said that was her assistant principal, and she loves her down.
85th.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh no, Dr. Listen, anybody who has a problem with Dr. McKinney as a principal, you clearly have not gone to a school, at least not a school that I've gone to. That is very common. That's what good principals do. You're there. You're active. Yes, you have to be stern, because if you are not stern, especially the first day of school, that's one of the first things you learn. Really, be you don't smile until like the first month and a half, 2 months. And so I don't think I smile until the end of the first market period. Baby, you're not getting no nice stuff over here. No. Is it school or prison? Yes, it's prison in them first few weeks. It absolutely is, to get your child in line, to let them know this is where classroom management comes in. What that woman is doing is setting the table and the standard for what the expectation is. Okay, what they want nowadays they want everything's nice. Everything's okay. You can do whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. You can wear whatever you want. No, baby. No. These are high school students, that many of which are not going to go to college. They're going to be entering the workforce. And when they go to the workforce, they're not going to be given options. They're going to have jobs to do. And so as a high school principal, even on the elementary level, I see this from great principals on the elementary level. Not talking down to a student, being very stern. Hey, baby, Where's my uniform? Don't walk in my school like this. Nope, not going to do that today. No, not at all. Students need this level of reinforcement daily, on a daily basis, because you know what's going to happen by the end of that week or by next week when they walk up to that door. They're going to start getting themselves together because they know what's coming. They're going to start to self-correct. And those are little things that go into the pedagogy of classroom management and things like that. If I'm a principal, and I know Dr. McKinney real well, she don't give a damn. Don't. About all of this stuff that people have said. That woman is over there running her school because you got people who have never been instructed on how to teach, never been in a classroom, never had a classroom, have not had to educate anyone, and then want to have wholesale thoughts, ideations, and beliefs on what should be done. We say this all the time, really. B, are you going into the operating room telling the doctor how they should operate on a person? No, you're not, because you know you've not been educated in how to do that, and you let that professional be the professional. In the same regard, too many times they don't let the professionals in education be the professionals, and they're always ready to try to tell the professionals what they should and should not be doing in this in cases like this.
So let me tell you something. When I saw this video online, I knew in that 30-second clip, 40-second clip, I knew as a teacher that I would love to work for that principal. Because what that said to me in that 20-30-second clip is, one, that's a principal that is present, like El Teddy said. She's not hiding in her office. She's not hiding behind the desk in the main office. She's not putting her APs out there. She is out there greeting her kids on the first day of school. That's number one. Number two, she is enforcing the rules. Let me tell y'all something. I went to a workshop my first year teaching. Some of you guys may or may not know Dr. Wong. He's passed away now, but he has a very famous
Harry Wong.
Harry Wong, right? He has a very famous book called The First Days of School. And my principal, my first year teaching, my principal sent us, the new teachers, to a workshop with Dr. Wong, right?
I did that too, my first year too. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And one of the things he said, he gave a lot of lessons, but one of the lessons that stuck with me was, you have to enforce the school rules, even if you think it's a dumb rule, because the minute you allow kids to break a rule because you don't like the rule, the lesson you've taught them is that the rule isn't important. And he used the example of gum. At the school where I worked at, the kids couldn't chew gum. I didn't think it was a big deal, but I had to enforce the rule because that was the school rule. Now, I say that about uniforms. When people are like, it's not a big deal, it's just the uniform, who cares? They showed up for school. The point isn't whether it's a big deal or not. The point is, it's the school rule. So she's enforcing the uniform policy. And what happens is, if kids are allowed to come to school out of uniform on the first day of school, they're going to continuously do it. And what's the first thing they're going to say, El Teddy? I've been wearing this. Nobody said anything. I've been wearing these slides. Nobody said I couldn't. And so you can't enforce on the third week of school a rule that you've allowed kids to get away with for 3 weeks, because now you do look petty. So I was there for her. All of that said to me that she enforced, because if she's enforcing the uniform policy at the front door, I know that that's a principal that's going to have my back when a student disrespects me. I know that's a principal that's going to have my back when I have an issue with a parent. As long as I'm following the rules, I know that's a principal that's going to have my back. That's what that said to me in that 30-40-second clip.
They don't have any more Harry Wongs, really. Be that's so unfortunate. I love Dr. Harry. Listen, that was the best thing that happened to me my first year teaching, being forced to go and sit under him and talk. And it was only a group of about 100 of us, so he was able to really go and answer. It was the best thing that ever. And they don't make them like Dr. Harry Wong. That Asian man right there, new classroom management. And so much of what I learned about how to manage my class, I picked up from him. That first day of school, and it's okay to read the book, but if you go to one of his workshops, him and his wife, go to one of their workshops and sit under them.
Videos and everything else.
Oh my God, it is invaluable. They don't make them like Dr. Harry Wong no more. So Harry Wong, and that is the start. That's how education started. He believed education. Your first job is not to educate them. Your first job is to make sure they're safe, and make sure you got to make sure your child is safe first and feel safe, and to make sure that you manage your classroom. Because if you can't do those two things, no education will happen.
Nope. You can't. All that trying to be their friend and trying to be the cool kid.
Yeah,
that'll get you caught up. Listen, you build relationships, but you can also build relationships where you let kids know, look, I told y'all all the time, they call me Petty Proctor. And I was like, I'll be petty. And they called me that because I would be the one that'd be like, you can't come in here like that. Well, I was in so-and-so room. I ain't got nothing to do with that. You're not coming in here like that. Then you go back to so-and-so then. All right. So again, we just hitting it. I got one more video and then the literacy piece, and we're going to open up the platform. So hold on, y'all. Hold on. We got one more. This is about the cell phone policy, and we kind of talked about this a little bit yesterday on my channel. But I'm going to share this little quick. Again, this is a quick clip about the cell phone policy, and then we're gonna switch over. All right. And this is a video from Kansas City, but this is happening across the country where the cell phone policy. So let me.
Okay, don't lose it. Let's go. Next one up, please. Por favor, quien sigue. Get yourself in line after you deposit your phone.
So that's, again, you guys, I couldn't find a better clip, but that is in Kansas City where the kids, the Kansas City Police Department they spent $180,000 purchasing that equipment that you saw, where kids on the first day of school have to put their phones into the machine to get a card, and at the end of the day, they put the card in that gets them their cell phone back. I have a similar policy. I mean, I have a similar situation in my classroom. It cost me $10. I have what's called it's a shoe rack, but I call it my cell phone parking lot. And it's the same concept. They put their phone in the little slot, and I have index cards with a number on it, and they take it out. The problem over the last 2 or 3 years has, like in the beginning when I first did it, the kids would do it. If they would comply, they would put their cell phones up. But the last couple of years, it's been harder and harder to get kids to do that. I did a charging station last year that was minimally successful. It wasn't as successful as I hoped it would be, but it was minimally successful. For me, I understand parents saying my child needs their phone when something happens. But again, I don't think people understand how many problems cell phones in school cause, as far as kids paying attention in class, kids being present, kids cheating. But also, I don't think people, when you talk about you want your child to have their phone for safety, these kids are using their phones to create unsafe situations. They're on their phone bullying people. They're on their phone planning fights. They're on their phones airdropping inappropriate things. Again, I gave the example of how literally at the end of a class period, we could have 300 kids in one hallway because while class was going on, the kids were texting each other saying, so-and-so and so-and-so are going to fight, in this hallway at the end of the period. So now security-wise, we got 300 kids in one hallway waiting for this fight that may or may not have already started. If the fight started, now we're trying to get through the crowd to get to the kids. And if the fight hasn't started, we're trying to disperse and deal with the situation before it even gets started. And again, the bullying that happens on the phones, the threats that happen on the phones, again, inappropriate videos and pictures that are passed around. It's a lot there, you guys. that go beyond. I understand you want your kids to feel safe, but let me be honest. I said this yesterday, and then I'm gonna let LTD talk. I was at a school that had a school shooting. The students having their cell phones caused more problems than helped. I'm gonna say that again. The students who had cell phones caused more problems when we had that shooting at the school than it helped. And I hate to hurt y'all little feelings, but those kids weren't calling their parents. For all the people that say, well, I should be able to get in touch with my child, and so they weren't calling their parents. They were calling everywhere else. They were tweeting, they were Instagramming, they were talking to each other, they were airdropping. They were not calling their parents. But go ahead, El Teddy. I'm gonna step away for a quick second. Go ahead.
Cell phones. I have unpopular opinions from a lot of people, even teachers sometimes, on cell phones. Even in my last location and things like that. I go back to the first thing that I say always, all the time, is classroom management. And when I would do workshop with teachers who had cell phone problems with students, I always tell them classroom management. It's always being able to. Now it means a little more work. It means that you may have to put a little more elbow grease in, but you have to have classroom management. I always told the teacher, if you have 100-minute block to teach in, have 150 minutes of work to do. There's never enough time. If you give them a moment of free time or a moment where they feel like they're done, then what happens is they are going to utilize that time to do what they're supposed to do. Now, somebody's going to say, well, they're always trying to search the answers and stuff on Google. Beautiful. Great. You know what I do? You know how I thwart that? I use none of the websites or none of the stuff that creates assessments and tests for you, because the students can always find. That's the first thing they look for. I'm going off of everything that I've taught in my class. So I made, everything that I have are things that is not easily, when I would give assessments or give homework or classwork or we have an assignment, these were not things that were easily accessible on the internet. Because if you did go and find something, you are going to spend more time trying to search that thing up and would never have time to go and put that down on paper and turn it in. So it's not a perfect process. There's never going, I don't know that you can put the toothpaste in the tube. I see what this school district is doing with the things there, but inevitably parents fight for what they want, and the school district is probably going to lose that fight. Whenever there's a fight between the school district and the parents, more often than not, the parents win. And this goes back to what I was saying in the very first story. We're the parents fighting to stop their kids from getting electrocuted, who are going to fight to make sure their students don't have to wear uniform, or the fight that they will have to make sure their students can have a cell phone in the classroom. You know what I'm saying? And so I used to try to really pick my battles, because I knew cell phone was a fight that that was just always going to be a losing fight. So I used to tell people all the time. I used to pit the students against each other. Every time I see a cell phone, I'm adding another assignment that's due today. Please understand. Be clear. The first cell phone I see, we have more work to do today. I'm just letting you know that now. Police yourselves. Police each other. If you don't want more work, make sure. I used to have little things that I would do. Really be the, because I used to say only thing I could control is my little world in my classroom. And these parents will fight you harder about their students having the cell phone than the students will fight you. And that's the sad part. The sad part is the parents fight you more about the student's cell phone than the students do sometimes. And I know how this goes. And really be when it's a fight between the parents and the school district, 9 times out of 10, the parents usually win. And the school districts cave to the parents. Not 100% of the time, but a good 90% of the time, the school district caves. So I wonder if the school district did not just spend 180 grand, 200K on something that's going to end up collecting dust. And we've seen school districts do that time and time again.
So I hear you. But I know for me, every year gets harder and harder. Like I said, when I first started with my cell phone parking lot situation, it wasn't an issue. The kids would put their phones in, they would get their cards. And what I did was when they were working on independent study, I would let them get their phones. So that was the trade-off. Because like you said, I'm not worried about them looking up the answers. That's the least of my issues. Every year though, it gets harder and harder. And last year was the hardest year. Because again, like you said, I'm not just fighting the kids. I'm in a school where nobody's enforcing rules. So I'm by myself on my island. Like you said, I'm in my classroom. I'm by myself on my island, and I'm fighting parents. I'm fighting kids. I'm fighting administration. And, at a certain point, you get tired. Again, you're absolutely correct. I set the tone for my classroom, and then this is the tone that I set. But what I also have to decide at a certain point is, am I going to spend the next 40 minutes fighting with this kid over a phone, or am I going to teach the rest of the kids that are ready to learn? And sometimes you just have to, when you're in a situation where nobody's going to have your back and nobody's going to support you, you
pick your battles.
You pick your battles. And so for me, if there were a process where I told my principal, I suggested to my principal when we were looking at budgets the year before last, buy those pouches. Those pouches that I know Dave Chappelle does them at his show. We got to put the phone in the pouch and you get your cell phone back at the end. Give them to teachers individually. Don't make it a situation where the kids can't have their phone all day, but buy the pouches for the teachers, and you put them in the pouch, you lock it. It's there to the end of the class period. The kids can still see their phone. They know where their phone is, and they know that at the end of this 130 minutes, whatever it is, they're going to get their phone back. I support that. I definitely support kids not having their cell phones, but I do understand, maybe allowing them to have their phones during transition at lunchtime. You know what I mean? Like, I'm fine with that, but I do feel like I need help. I'm just going to be honest. I need help with that in my classroom, because I'm in an environment where I'm just by myself. Like, even other teachers, once a time I worked in an environment where it was one band, one sound, across the board, one band, one sound. If a teacher was doing it, if a teacher was doing it to the left of me, a teacher was doing it to the right of me. And I just don't work in that environment anymore. I'm by myself. I got the teacher across the hall, don't give a fuck. The teacher over here, you know what I mean? It's not just all, listen, the teachers are an issue too. If we're going to be honest, let's be honest. But, so the last conversation, and then we're going to open up the panel for a little while. The last conversation was about literacy, which of course that went viral this week because Darius Cooks did the video about the kids not being able to learn, yada, yada, yada. Again, you guys, there's no surprise here. We've been telling y'all this. Thank you for the Jules. We've been telling y'all that. There's nothing new here. I mean, I don't know what you want to add, what you want to say about literacy, LT, because again, I feel like we've been sounding that alarm as well.
I think that literacy situation is compounded. There are two things working against it. One, that old guard that was hard on literacy, hard on the pedagogy of knowing actually how to teach someone how to read. That old guard is gone. They are gone, either dead or retired. There was a group of or generation of teachers that came after that old guard, like myself and so forth, who taught English for many years, and you learned from how to, the proper way to teach literacy and phonics and prosody and phonemic awareness and all of those things. And we were still holding on to that. But what happened that shut a lot of those our generation down really is Nickelby. Nickelby was the worst thing that happened to literacy in this country. And it got away from the rudiments of teaching literacy, and many teachers that were able to do it were then threatened, they were reprimanded, they were forced into programs that weren't, pedagogically sound, like Read 180s and all of the, I could name 8,000 different reading programs that were detrimental to the reading process. And reading and literacy became a business. Whose ever business had the most backing and funding, regardless of how horrible it was, if the school district or if the people in positions of power were friends with them and they could get a kickback, they were implementing those literacy programs. And now you started to have the erosion of true literacy being taught. And so my generation of people like myself, they either said, you know what, I can't fight no more, just give the people what they want, or they just started to remove themselves from education. And now you have a whole crop of young educators now that have no clue on true mechanics of teaching fundamental literacy, and they go along with whatever the school district throws in front of their face, and they're amazed that they I followed the lesson plan, I followed the scripted word for word program that they gave me, and it's not working. Well, baby, that's because the program was flawed from the beginning. And that's because you are relying solely on this program rather than you knowing the fundamentals of teaching literacy. I talked to a person who teaches English on the middle school level, meaning you're still in that process of teaching students how to be real linguists. And she had never heard the word prosody before. I say, you're teaching English? She said, I've never heard that before. What is prosody? I said, wait, what? These are the things that that baffle the mind. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that there was that, and then, like I said, we also live in a world where, like you said, with the cell phones and emergence of AI and everything, things are done for not just students but for adults. You don't have to think about the fact that people don't even have to be able to know the correct word to use in a sentence, because there's the AI correction tool on your email. I ain't talking about the students, I'm talking about adults in the workforce. You have, there are the things already in place that, make things easier. And so even adults are losing the ability to do some of the things that they learned. And so students don't feel the need to learn the proper way to do things. If they say, well, why do I need to learn that? And the computer's going to do that for me. And it goes back to reading has become like math. Remember when people would say, well, why do I need to know all of these math problems, how to do all of this math, when I could just pick up a calculator and the calculator will do it for me, and I don't ever have to worry about having to be able to multiply, divide, and stuff like that. And that was years ago, as electronics and technology started to make some of the rudimentary math things obsolete. Same thing has happened in reading, where technology is caught up in all of these things that we used to harp on: penmanship and on correct spelling and proper use of words and subject verb agreement and things like that. Students look now and they say, I don't need to do that. The AI will do it, the computer will do it, it'll auto correct and things like that. And people are okay with that now. They're very okay with that. But what happens is, the danger is adults like us that are okay with students not learning that forget that they had to learn that stuff in order to be cognitively sound and have the ability to know what is right and what's wrong. AI is not perfect. It doesn't always, have the right context or the right colloquial use or connotative use of certain names and phrases and words and things like that. So someone who was taught literacy correctly, even with the AI, we can say, yeah, that's not right, or oh yeah, that is right, or it may come, we can bring things back to I remember, oh yeah, I remember that. If you've never been taught, you can never pull from something. You just are at the mercy of whatever it is that technology or that AI or that whatever tells you, and you could never check the facts. And so facts don't mean anything because for them, facts is Wikipedia, a platform that is built off of non-facts and unfactual information. They use Wikipedia as facts, and we know in educational circles that it starts off with things that are not facts. It's gotten better over the years, but here we are.
Yep. I'm going to put the link in the chat if you want to join the conversation. All I want to say is this: I ditto everything you I ditto everything you said. Listen, we've been telling you guys. We told you guys during COVID. I've been telling you. We've been again ringing the alarm. At the end of the day, I don't know what to say. Govern yourselves accordingly, I guess. I don't know. But at the end of the day, you guys, we're going into a new school year. There are a lot of things going on, a lot of things that are going viral. At the end of the day, I guess the day got to end. I don't know. I was trying to come up with something real deep. That's all I got. You know you're on mute, El Teddy. I mean, at the end of the day got to end.
Oh, I didn't even know I was on mute. That's funny.
Listen. We said we would be here for 2 hours, so we got about 30 minutes to open up the panel. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you for all the people who have subscribed on Substack. I appreciate that. And for those that are coming in late, the Teacher Project is moving to Substack. We will still be uploading content over here on YouTube and uploading our shows. But if you want to join us live, you got to come over to Substack and join us live down to the Substack. I have power. Oh, good. All right. You can appreciate this discussion. We appreciate you guys for being here. We appreciate you guys for being here. El Teddy is also on Substack. You guys can subscribe to him on Substack as well. Him and Terrence do a good breakdown of what's going on with the war. I know a lot of times because it's not. Oh, thank you. A lot of times because it's not on our front page anymore, we tend to forget, but we are still actively in war. Thank you. I don't want to say your government name, but thank you for the Cash App. I'll split it and share it with El Teddy. Thank you so much. We correct Alexa daily, child. Child, we sure do. I don't even want to get into AI in schools. That's a whole nother child. Wikipedia pages are controlled and edited by individuals who may be the subject, i.e., Chris Brown can amend his Wikipedia. This may not contain truths. Exactly. And that's why I tell my students Wikipedia is not a source. Oh, I apologize. I didn't read the note. El Teddy, this cat is not for the Teacher Project. My bad. I didn't read the note. My bad. I didn't read the note. See, we talking about literacy and reading. Reading is fundamental. Anyway, well, if nobody's coming out, we're gonna go ahead and close it out, you guys. We wanted to open up the panel. I'll give you. I'll drop the link. We'll give you guys another 5 minutes. But if not, and that's fine. You don't have to come up, you know. But we wanted to give y'all an opportunity to speak. We wanted to talk about some things. Again, we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming this week. I'm gonna talk to El Teddy today, and we're gonna lock in a date and time so that we know we doing it. That's the biggest thing, y'all. If I'm being honest, the biggest thing is our schedules change from week to week. And with me going back to school, y'all know stuff is happening back to school. Child, I just saw my schedule. I just found out what classes I'm teaching this year. Like 5 minutes before I went live. Teach for America teachers are primarily the ones doing what? Teach for America is still a thing?
They still out there. A mess.
I haven't heard that in a long time because I guess the district that I work for doesn't really hire a lot of Teach for America teachers because I ain't heard that in a minute.
Just a mess. Just a
baby. It's raggedy. See, Golden. Not only is it raggedy that I just found out what I'm teaching, it's raggedy that I went and logged into my email looking for my back to school welcome back email and it ain't there. How's it 2:30 the Sunday before school start and I don't see nothing about no back to school, nothing. Now that's what's raggedy. But that just let me know what kind of school year I'm walking into, child. Oh, not believing in our students. Oh, well, you know, the thing, what my experience with Teach for America teachers is that they think they're going to save our kids. They think they're going to swoop in and they know something that we ain't been able to do ourselves, and they're going to teach us how to do it.
Who is that? Michelle Pfeiffer with Coolio. What movie was that? They think that's what they do.
Dangerous Minds, child.
Yeah, they think that's what it is, child.
They think they're gonna come in and have a quick little, come up with a cute little activity, and all the kids are gonna be like, "Wow, we love her."
You know let me tell you though, back in the day, the teachers that I hated, especially the young Teach for America kids, students that used to come. I shouldn't say student teachers that used to come and teach, and they would always, and the English teachers that come in, yeah, I think I'm going to teach my kids Tupac in order to teach them poetry. And I'm looking at them like,
right,
really? That's what we're doing? That really what we're doing? Child.
I had a teacher one time that had hip-hop math. She was going to use hip-hop math to teach the kids. I don't even know what my classroom situation is because based on my schedule, I'm not floating. I'm going to be all in one building, which is fine. But now, tomorrow, I got to figure out who's going to move my stuff. Okay, Miss Watkins, I'm going to bring you up, babe. Hey, Miss Watkins.
Hello, I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
We can, loud and clear. You said you're a fellow educator. So tell us what you want to tell us, girl. You got the floor.
Well, first off, I want to send you some blessings for your school year.
Thank you.
I think we work for the same district.
Oh, okay. You're in Maryland?
Yep. I won't say it out loud, but I think we work in the same area.
I'm gonna ask you this question. I'm gonna ask you a quick question.
I hope that this year just brings an understanding with parents with these behaviors. I do kindergarten, and the things I have seen over the last couple of years, wow. So I am hoping that the new year just brings some understanding from parents. I'm not expecting them to get pedagogy. That's my job, but I just want to be heard when I say I'm seeing XYZ. That is what I'm hoping for. But that's all I wanted to say. You guys have a great school year. That's what I'm hoping for.
Let me ask you a question real quick before you hop off. One, are you the teacher that sent me your wish list?
I am, but it got funded.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, I apologize. I could not find it in my DMs. So I was going to tell you to send it to me again. But you good? You sure? You straight?
Yes, it got funded. If you want to share my Amazon list, if you
send me your Amazon list.
In my signals. But if you want to share my Amazon list, you can. And I can send that to you. But my Donors Choose did get funded.
Oh, well, congratulations on that. Yeah, send me your Amazon list and I'll post it.
All right. Well, that's all I wanted to say. My car radio is jumbling me up. So you all enjoy the rest of your day.
You enjoy the rest of your day. And we do work for the same district because if you're the same teacher, we do. But enjoy your day too, my love. Right. And you have a great first day of school tomorrow as well.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. All right, you guys, we're going to wrap it up. Nobody else has come up, so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We want to thank y'all for being here. Do you guys encourage others to join the education profession? I'm going to be honest. I have to say no. I'm going to be honest. Not where I am right now, not how I feel right now. I'm probably not the best person to talk to. Do I think that teachers are needed, especially Black male teachers? Absolutely. Do I love teaching? I still love teaching. That is not why I no longer want to be there. It's never about teaching. It's all the other things. So I'm probably not the right person to talk to right now. But
for me, it just depends on who the person is. I'm not going to say I do for everybody. It just depends on who the person is. Maybe if I don't like them. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Well, all right, you guys, we're going to get out of here. I'm about to go get me some crabs so I can enjoy my last meal before I turn myself in the morning. I don't know what El Teddy's doing. What you got going on, El Teddy, for the people?
You know, I don't work on Sundays. This is rare for me. You know, I don't come up on Sundays, baby.
Right, we appreciate you.
Sunday, I'll be here. But we'll be back tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern on Substack, and about 5 p.m. on back here on YouTube tomorrow to give y'all all of the things, you know, and talk about all of the things. So yeah. That's it. That's all.
All right, we out, y'all. Mwah. Peace. Not Teach for America knock on doors like Jehovah's Witnesses. Oh, I never had that experience. Oh my.